Dr. Karthikeyan, Professor Anupam Sibbal, Shri S. Agarwal ji, Gaurav Gupta ji, Dr. G. S. Garewal ji, and most of all, our very distinguished senior citizens. I don't know what the definition of a senior citizen is, but whatever it is, I have always believed that any society which cares for its senior citizens or the elderly is a good society. And I think traditionally, Indian civilization and our way of life has one of its defining characteristics that the family values and the family always shows respect to its senior citizens. And I think when I ran into Dr. Karthikeyan, now I tell you about his and my past in a minute, but when I ran into Dr. Karthikeyan and he very graciously invited me to be present on this, to celebrate the 41st anniversary of the Elders' Day celebration of the Aged Care India Foundation, I immediately agreed. And there are two reasons. One is Dr. Karthikeyan himself, and secondly also I've always believed that the Modi government has done a lot. I can list out the schemes that we have taken since 2014, but I'm not here to do that we can put that out, information you're familiar with. But I think I will give you the Modi government highlights. National Program for Healthcare of Elderly Health and Wellness Centers under the Ayushman Bharat scheme. I'll come to Ayushman Bharat, but before I come to what the Modi government has done, I want to say something about the context setting. You know, Dr. Karthikeyan shared with you some statistics. He cited the World Population Prospect Report 2019, I think. He cited UN estimates that by 2030, the people aged 60 years or above are expected to outnumber children under age 10. I think he cited a WHO report and so on. I'm going to go away from the world of statistics and I want to tell you that some societies age, the Japanese society is a case in point. Some societies have a little longer gestation period to age, and they are successful only because they are able to combine a young demographic profile with the care that they provide. There are certain things that I have done which I regrettably find are not receiving the attention that they should. Soon after I became a minister in 2017, I formulated a policy for care centers, or a policy which was circulated to the state governments, whereby the private sector could, with the help of the state government, establish old age care centers. See, what has happened is that as our economy grows, it has come from being the 10th largest to the 5th largest economy, and it's on the way to becoming the 3rd largest economy. Success also means different things. Many families which are successful, children have got educated, the children go abroad, and for education they go for medical service. Dr. Trehan is a classic case. He went and came back. But many elderly people, including in Punjab, are left to their own devices. And therefore, a policy of a collaborative scheme between the private sector and that, and I'm going to try and push it. I know some people took advantage of it. The government has done many things. The Atal Vayu Abhujyadya Yojana, an umbrella organization that provides housing support, assisted living devices, and also undertaking skilled initiatives and sensitization capacity building. Sacred portal for the elderly. But the fact of the matter is, if you look at the nature of the challenge, I think much more needs to be done. And I think that is what a society like yours, Dr. Karthikeyan, is doing. But I think we need to help and augment that effort. Now, I want to, many years ago when I was a young civil servant, my father had a DDA flat in House Khas. And I see one of our neighbors sitting there, they show on the top floor, Mrs. Chawla, I think. Sahi baat hai na? Main pehchan liya aapko. Acha nahi, so, I had a brother in the IAS who had some colleague of his in the Karnataka cadre. And my brother said, I have some friends coming home for in the evening, can you be present? That's when I first met Dr. Karthikeyan. Much before I got posted to Sri Lanka and I had to deal with the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam, and he was the director of CBI, and then the rest is history. But that's the first time I met him. But I want to tell you, you are honoring today two people who are both compassionate humanitarians. You are honoring somebody who has already been honored by the government of India when you're Padma Vibhushan, Padma Bhushan. That's only one thing. But I think there is something much larger that society can do. And that is what this function is all about. I was telling my friend Dr. Trehan, I said, you know, you get many awards, you get many, but the collective blessings that you will get from those gathered here, that is of a quality of itself. My office, my younger colleagues sometimes wonder why I say yes to some programs and don't say yes to those easily. I have discovered or rather developed the ability to distinguish between genuine events and, purely, formalities, etc. I just want to focus on two parts which have been briefly touched on, but when I want to share my personal views. As we move towards being the third largest economy in the world, there is something fascinating happening. And that is measured not in terms of the number of surgeries, specialized cardiovascular surgeries that you perform. That is a good sign. That means people living in those areas should come here. But there's something else happening. It is the acknowledgement and respect that Mother India is receiving in terms of how it is viewed outside. I want to relay a small incident. I was posted in London in the year 1998 to 2001. Mr. Vajpayee was the Prime Minister. And I remember I got a call from a friend who used to be in the PMO, Ashok Saikia. He said, PM said something, मुझे पता नहीं कि sarcastic थे कि नाराज थे या मजाक कर रहे थे. Apparently at that point of time, the day he called me, there were 9 cabinet ministers in London. तो उसको बोलो Deputy High Commissioner को cabinet meeting वहीं करवा ले. So you talked about people going out for medical treatment. No, I think people used to go out for medical treatment and on the slightest excuse. Today I can tell you with confidence, there is nothing that London, and I'm not saying this targeted at London or any other place, has to offer which you don't have here in India. But in that the medical facilities are a case in point. I have worked in London, New York, Geneva, Tokyo, and I can tell you the days where you needed to go to a foreign country to have any part of you treated, not necessary. You have the same quality of equipment here, you have probably much better diagnostic skills, and I'm not only talking about the two giants we are honoring today, Dr. Pratap Reddy and my friend Dr. Naresh Dayan, but overall also, healthcare has arrived. You spoke about the pandemic. Let me tell you, I was a member of a group of ministers which the Prime Minister has established to deal with the pandemic. I have witnessed to the fact that when the pandemic broke out, we had, I wouldn't say a deficiency. We did not have PPE kits, we did not have oxygen cylinders, we did not have masks, anything. But so quickly we ramped it up, the vaccine manufacturing, one vaccine manufacturing capacity, research done in Oxford University, produced by Oxford AstraZeneca, produced under license in Pune, another indigenous, and what kind of criticism we were being told. Today nobody talks about it. You know why? Because more than 224 crore vaccines have been produced and almost distributed free. And how did we work as a system? I remember one day I got a call from my very close friend Dr. Trehan. He said something about vaccine. He told me, he said, this is what is happening. And you know what I told him? I said, I'm a member of the GM, do me a favor. You convey the same information to someone else, I'll take care of it. You see, even when we were sorting it out, there were attempts made to derail the process. A lot of people were giving vaccines to hospitals which didn't have the capacity to, administer the doses. And on the other hand, large medical facilities which had the capacity to deliver were not getting there. But it worked beautifully. Today, you are able to have a meeting like this. Today, of course, the numbers are not that large, but nobody is wearing a mask. But I go and attend meetings where 3,000, 10,000 people. Try and do this kind of a meeting in another country which has a large economy, second largest economy. You cannot. A, they are insulating their senior citizens because they are scared that something is going to go wrong, or they are not confident that the virus has been tamed. I'm not saying the virus has completely gone, but when I listen to Dr. Trehan and others and educate myself, so I think there's a lot that we have done right, but I think we have a further way to travel. But more than that, I also want to pay a tribute today to the private sector in India's medical rejuvenation. Sometimes we tend to minimize one or the other. I personally think that the schemes that the Prime Minister has introduced are fantastic. Ayushman Bharat being a case in point, where only one family can get up to 5 lakhs in terms of medical diagnosis, treatment, surgery costs, post-operation care. Today, there are dispensing points, what are they called, Jan Aushadhi Kendras, where medicines are made available, not through government subsidy, but it's an interesting scheme which works that whilst you're selling medicines at a phenomenal price to certain economically weaker sections or those who need it, to sell the same medicine at a fraction of the cost. No one in India, if I may say so, I mean, there are people who are still on the margins of the healthcare sector, but it's changing. And today, private hospitals, government hospitals, everyone has stepped forward to ensure that medical attention is given. So I think you've chosen very well, Dr. Karthikeyan. I don't know whether you have a jury or you have a system who does the selection, but I think in a time like this, choosing two compassionate humanitarians and persons who have established not only a name for themselves in India but outside, I think it's excellent choices. I am very grateful to you that you've allowed me to be present here and to be part of the show. And all I can do is to wish all of you here, those who are at the 90-100 point, you are a good example for us. Dr. Karthikeyan, you are still young. You must be in your 60s or so, no? I know that. Because you're more senior. I'm 72, so I'm going to be 72, so you can't be younger than that. But no, I think it's a very good feeling that we can continue to receive their blessings, and also that some of us institutionally are able to address some of their issues. Other issues are beyond us. Some of them need care of a different kind, some is forthcoming. But we have a, by and large, I think, a compassionate society, both from the religious and spiritual part of view, and also the rest of us institutionally. So once again, thank you very much, and I wish you all many happy years of joyful living ahead. Thank you.
May I request our president to kindly present